Hello, everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of Bloody Good Horror. My name is Eric, and I'll be your host for this evening, where we will be reviewing The Seed, because we couldn't decide on a movie, and Shudder put it in their rotator, and now you know how the sausage gets made. And it's March, and what happens in March, John? We're waiting for X and all this other stuff, and, here we are. I'll be your host for this evening. Joining me first up, she's normally from California, but this evening she's coming to us from Las Vegas, Nevada. Please welcome from the Zombie Girls, Rachel, to the show.
Hey, everybody.
How's
Who
everybody?
Wants to gamble? Let's get drunk.
How's everybody in Vegas enjoying your
dice, other Vegas things?
How's everyone in Vegas enjoying your fire pink hair?
I mean, I've gotten some looks and some compliments. So I would say views are mixed.
You might not even stand out in Vegas. You're
It's true.
Oh, I'm sure your fabulousness stands out. It is amazing.
Well, it stands out everywhere, obviously, but
Next up on the show from
I don't know how to...
Indiana, please welcome Casey.
Hello.
Joining us tonight from Memphis, Tennessee, please welcome Elizabeth.
Hey, guys.
And finally tonight from Manhattan, New York City, you're cosplaying as me there, John, with the black T-shirt there. Please welcome Mr. John Schnars to the show.
Hi, Eric.
What does that shirt say, John?
It's Tampa Bay Brewing Co.
Oh,
I visited my sister in Tampa 2 weeks ago and got this shirt.
Gotcha. I'm wearing the new Fright Rags, the Halloween 3. There you go.
Graphic sleeve.
That's right. Because it just had more graphics, so they needed somewhere to put them. And here we are.
I wanted to see if Elizabeth wanted to weigh in on your southern accent when you said Memphis. Is there
she has to listen to.
Where
it
do
all
we
the
rate that?
So.
It's not great.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, he will say something where I'm like, "Damn, bro! That wasn't too far off."
It depends on
but
if
then
I'm
we'll be watching something and he'll be like, "His accent's good."
Here's the difference.
And I'm like,
It depends on if I'm trying.
That's
or
not Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, nowhere.
It depends on if I'm trying or if I'm trying to be an asshole. There's the
I
difference.
know.
Yeah. So I have a 5 and a 3-year-old girl. The girls, they watch a lot of what's called My Little Pony,
Mm-hmm.
and they love Applejack, and they
Right.
will do the Applejack voice. They
I do
think it's
too.
the funniest thing in the world.
How do you request it? I'll be like, "All right, partner, let's go get breakfast."
Yeah. They'll do it, and they're it's like a 5-year-old, and then the 3-year-old does, and you're like, oh boy.
Love
This is
it.
the best.
All right, y'all. It
Yeah.
is time. Let's take a quick break and review The Seed.
This is it, Jennifer. Your big break in TV. From the prime time. Main feature.
John, in New York here, the kids in school have been unmasked for roughly a week and a half.
Yeah.
And that is all it
same.
took for me to get not COVID, but the worst virus I've had in 3 years, including having actual COVID 2 months ago. And we couldn't do the show last night. I don't feel much better today, but I'm here. I'm better enough to be here.
It's
terrible.
It's been going okay. Knock on wood, fine here in New York City. They were all wearing masks, but there were other viruses circulating because it's New York City. There's too many people to not have viruses going around. So I don't know. Maybe whatever you got, it's already.
Well,
been through here.
I went into the pandemic with an already weak constitution, and then
I was
wasn't
about to say, I
exposed
have
to
a theory.
anything for 2 years. So
I have a theory that if Eric and I lived in the city of New York, like Manhattan,
one of us would be sick 24/7.
No, we would either immediately die day 2, Oregon Trail style, or we would be superhero level inoculated.
That's right.
One of the two.
Alert the New York Tourism Board. We've got a new slogan. You'll either be dead in 2 days
Oh,
or
no.
inoculated.
That is so funny. Somebody hung a sign that was on our bridge. It was on the Memphis bridge when you were coming in that said, what did it say? Welcome to Memphis. You'll come for the barbecue and stay because you got murdered.
Nice.
And it's soups accurate and really funny.
Classy.
Well, John,
Yeah.
words.
I'm very curious what the word for.
Yeah, well,
Well, let's
don't
find
get your
out. Please
you
bring
know,
us the
expectations up.
word of the day. What you got?
Eric, I'm very excited because I think this is the shortest word of the day I've ever arrived at. Also, Las Vegas tie-in. So, Rachel, strap in. The word is pip. That's P-I-P.
Does that mean
Pip.
Does that mean cosmic sex turtle?
If there were a word for that, I would have found it. So, pip, the sort of first definition you get here, a small hard seed in a fruit.
Interesting.
So this is a synonym for seed, a specific type of seed, I guess you would say.
I remember I remember a lot of old people telling me I was a pip when I was a kid. It's like an old people saying.
So
I feel like
here we go.
That might be a whole nother thing. I don't know.
It is an old person thing, I think. So that version of pip comes from Pippin.
Oh, interesting.
So do with that what you will. Pip can also, though, mean any of the spots on a playing card, domino or dice.
It could also be a backup singer to Gladys Knight.
It's true.
I love it.
There you go.
It's true. Very true.
I'm gonna go impress some dealers. I'm sure they'll be very
but it's
impressed
funny,
with my knowledge of pips.
They give you two separate definitions or etymologies. So the dice thing, it used to be called a peep, and they just like shortened it to pip, and that's
because then the marshmallows, and they were like, we don't want to be confused.
Big Steve came for them.
So that's the word, John, because of the title of the movie, of Seed.
Yeah, well, I was like kicking around. There were like parts of seeds that I was looking at, and I'm like, this is too much biology. I don't want to get down that rabbit hole. And I was like, pip.
There you go.
So
love it.
Yeah.
A word worthy of the film at hand.
All right, John, tell me about The Seed, John.
The Seed, as Eric mentioned, we enjoyed this film on Shudder. Where is it an exclusive, or I think it's the only place you can find it right now.
Yeah.
In any event, Shudder.
I think we all agree, John. That doesn't really mean much anymore.
Fair, but I think this I know it played at Fright Fest. It sort of like did the circuit, so to speak. Comes to us from first-time writer-director Sam Walker. The film, it's the story of three young ladies, Deirdre, Charlotte, and Heather. They go on a trip to Heather's father's house in Phoenix, or like out in Arizona. It's like
desert.
It's in the desert. It is a very nice home. It's sort of one of these things where someone involved with the film had access to a ridiculous house, and they kind of were like,
totally.
And then made up a ridiculous reason why these three women would ever be there. Yes.
Yeah. They did. They needed a reason. And so they go to this house. They are nominally there to watch a meteor shower, but largely it's like they're just going to do like a long weekend. They're going to do some, light drug use and partying, as you will.
Or maybe heavy drug use. I can't seem to figure out what that one drug they did was.
What were those little popper thingies that looked like those things that you get on 4th of July that you throw on the ground?
Yes.
You throw on the ground and it explodes. I'm like, why are you eating that food?
I'm just excited I wasn't the only one who didn't know what those were.
No. And
are those like on the street in Vegas right now, Rachel? Like, are you seeing that? Like, are people passing those out?
I mean, it's adding a lot of context for me. I just thought they were throwing a lot of those little poppers.
Anything.
With poppers, I was like, did I miss the popper scene in this movie? Because that would have taken a real different turn.
Yeah. So they're there. They watch this meteor shower, and one of the meteors falls into the pool, and turns out it is. I think they refer to it as an armadillo. It's basically like a little alien.
They call it a bear a whole lot.
Yeah. It's like a little, alien creature stuffed animal looking thing. Well,
you know what it looks
slimy
like, John?
stuffed animal thing.
Denizens of the
Yes.
internet may remember the Montauk Monster from like
I was
2008.
gonna say it looks just like the
Yeah.
damn Montauk
looks like
Monster. I was so excited about that thing.
It looks like that, but tiny, like a tiny version, like a baby.
Well, but like with
Montauk
like
Monster.
arms and like the proportions were a little different, like the bear proportions, but Montauk Monster.
Yeah. Have you guys ever seen like that old show, like Dinosaurs with the puppets? That it's like not the daddy.
It's dinosaur.
It's like that.
It's not the mama.
Like it's the dumb puppet that looks like a hairless cat.
It's like a fetus version of that dinosaur.
It
not
sure
the
is.
baby.
Yep.
They're not the mama.
Not the baby. No one's getting it right. It's not the mama.
It was not the mama. I
Good
said that.
Lord.
We're so sorry. We apologize to the good
Cultural.
folks.
Stop saying
of
wrong things.
Dinosaurs, circa
91.
1992.
Jesus. But yeah, I mean, the rest of the movie is basically, what do they do now? They have this not the mama dinosaur thing in their pool, or it's like in the yard. The movie, it wants to be
light molestation and like child abuse with this 15-year-old kid out of nowhere that comes in. And,
yeah.
That actor was like 27, first of all, when he was like, I'm 15.
I don't
was like,
care.
No, you're not.
He
Like,
was
what?
15 in the movie, and she was like into it, and they never explained it.
No, well, all right, we can get to that. But how old are these women? In the movie, I would have guessed they were like early 20s. I don't know how old the actors are, but they're definitely like portrayed as being like lightly employed, recent.
I like that.
Entrance.
I know some people that are lightly employed.
Yeah, but like recent entrance to the workforce or sort of, and yeah, I mean, it's a comedy-ish, but it's also, I don't know. I think they want it to be a comedy. It's not so funny. There's a lot of weird shit that happens in this movie.
Well, I don't know. I have some theories. I have some theories about like what they were trying to do. I don't know. I don't think they really do whatever that was. But
one important point of like sort of reference for everyone, I did look. All three of the actresses are from the UK, the British, and or one of them's from Dublin. So Ireland. They're all doing like I didn't know that, but it actually is like somewhat helpful. One of them in particular I thought was not good, and like I don't know, maybe it was the accent was the problem. Like, so we can get into it, but yeah. So that's the setup, I would say.
All right, Rachel, just kick us off.
I know people are going to have really strong opinions on this for me based on our pre-show thread. And I definitely do too, but I think there are both pros and cons for this if we want to be super fair. I think visually there's some really cool things in this movie. Like this practical effects are really gross and gooey. And like I was saying in the pre-show, it scratches a very particular Brian Usna itch for me. It has kind of that same sort of like fleshy perversion as something like Society or Progeny. Like this has big Progeny vibes to me, but it's also kind of a sexist hot mess, which I'm sure we're going to talk a lot more about. I think every opportunity it has a chance to lean into some really sexist tropes, it's like I jump in. So yeah. And it's the rape culture in this is wild. It is so intense. So overall, I don't know that I'm the biggest fan of this movie, but I think it does have some visual flair.
Casey.
So I'm notoriously a fan of B movies. The cheesier, the better. And this goes far beyond that level for me at least, to like a C or a D type movie. There's not a lot going on here, and there's not a lot to grasp onto as the viewer to have somebody to root for or anything like that. All the characters are pretty flat. I mean that in performance, not in other ways, because this is very male gazy. I'm not trying to be rude, but there's just a lot of problems here, and it's not very exciting or entertaining. I had high hopes for this. I didn't expect greatness from this movie. Reading it and especially sitting in the first half of the movie, I was expecting something on the caliber of Zombievers, which manages to do a lot of the same stuff but still be fun. And they kind of felt like they sucked the fun out of this. There's a monster that could be on par with the Zombievers, but there's not a whole lot going on with said monster that's a problem. And some of the girls' reactions and stuff. But like Rachel was saying, some of the practical effects and stuff, like when we get towards the end of the movie and our two main girls start showing up all kind of black and slimy, that was pretty cool makeup. I like that. And I kind of like the idea of what they were going with what was happening to them in that part. I could buy into that. How they got there, I couldn't buy into, but that part I could buy into. So for me, it largely fell flat.
Elizabeth.
I did not like this movie. I didn't like anything about it. I didn't like any of the people in it. I didn't like the hairless cat they were trying to tell me was a meteor alien baby. And I didn't like anybody's laissez-faire attitude about what the fuck fell in their pool. It made no sense that we had this like cool girl drug montage. It didn't fit with half the characters on screen. I don't understand why a 15-year-old boy got kissed for more than 3 seconds by a grown woman.
I think the sex
Many
turtle.
loose threads.
I think the
You're
sex
like taking it
turtle.
off on your clock. Like,
The sex
you're
turtle
like-
was like
Okay,
horning
like-
everyone up.
In my wildest hopes and dreams, this would be like, I don't know, like The Babysitter, like is it McGee? Like just it doesn't have to be telling me anything great about like gender relations or whatever, just be stupid and fun. It was neither. It was not funny. It was trying to be funny, then immediately would show me screens of torment. Like it would just be like one shot after another where like clearly you're supposed to be taken seriously. Like nobody can tell me this is a comedy after like the halfway mark where it turns into extreme body horror, which I did appreciate some of the visuals of. I did like the black tar makeup. I wrote down the black vomit that looks like tar that's also coming out of their eyes as a neat visual that I wish I'd seen in an Addams Family film and not this one. So I just problems from front to back, and it does not surprise me at all that there wasn't a woman being like fuck no to just like most of what was happening.
John.
Yeah. It's not a good movie. Why it's not a good movie is like, yeah, I mean, you all hit on a bunch of different things. I think I was saying pre-show, like there's a little bit of it felt like a pretense to get these 3 actresses to this like location and like do wild stuff where they like are taking their clothes off. Like it felt sexist in a way that like movies that we've seen, we watch a lot of movies around
You
here.
can see it. It's interesting. I said this over email, but it's like, I think because we actually see so many examples of what stories look like through like actual female lenses, like you can see in the camera work, like little things that
Well,
it's
what y'all
almost
are
like
both saying, it feels personal after having seen something done so well where you're actually put into the perspective of the protagonist or whoever it like this the gratuitous amount of sexism present here feels personal, because I think, John, you're right that like they met these girls at a party or something and we're like, we're 3 dudes, you're the producer, I'm the director,
well,
you're
but-
the writer,
but
let's go get a house in
what happens
the
is it
desert.
just feels like as you're watching it, it's like you're just noticing things and like you're clocking like shots and you're like, oh, that's really weird. And then watching it, I'm like, oh, it's because like it feels weirdly antiquated the way it's put together.
Yeah. Well, Eric, you made that point over email that like if this had come out in, I don't know, whatever, like the late 90s, maybe people would have been, wouldn't have batted an eye. And it would have like, I don't know, maybe felt transgressive or interesting in a way that it definitely doesn't at this point. Like,
Or, like,
it's doing a lot of the
2005.
stuff that like Slither wants to do, that Slither did, whatever year that came out in.
Slither's smart though, like that's so
Well, yeah. I'm saying like that,
It's-
and it was also 20 years ago that movie came out or whatever it was, right? Like, so my point is like, there's so many bad parts to this, but like that, so like that specific thing where like the premise that the alien is like mind controlling them. So back to the point of like her kissing the 15-year-old, the assumption that I was under is that the alien was like mind controlling her to do that, right?
Yeah.
But,
Like,
like,
'cause-
he
Well,
got
like-
like red dots on him or something right before it happened to, like there was some weird thing that happened right before they kissed and like I don't know. It was
but
hard
like
to
she
follow.
also then this is where like the plot of the movie makes no goddamn sense because like this is so she is Charlotte. Charlotte's like the main character. Charlotte's like there's sort of like 2 blondes and then a brunette, and like the blondes are like coded as like shallow or bad in other ways.
They're
like more
vapid, they're like
they're
social
more
media
sexualized.
influencers,
Yeah. whereas like the brunette is like she's wearing a black T-shirt at one
We
point,
know
and like
that she's
she's
cool
poor.
because she doesn't have a smartphone.
yeah, exactly.
Poor.
Yes, exactly.
No,
Yeah.
she did have a
Yeah,
smartphone. It was just an older, shittier one.
It
like,
was
Right.
it was like an iPhone 4 instead of like an iPhone.
know,
Oh,
that
that's
was
that's
like
funny.
funny. I
10
thought
or
it was a
whatever.
flip.
No, it was definitely not. In any event, so but yeah, so like later in the film, the alien is like unable to control her, which is why she's the one who survives. Spoiler, or like survives air quotes. But like she's controlled at that. I like this is where there was just a lot of shit that I was like, I don't know what. None of it made any sense.
It doesn't really
basically.
come together.
So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I mean,
Eric, go
they've
ahead.
spent.
Rachel, sorry.
I would say, well, they've spent 2 acts basically like trying to drive home the fact that she's not like other girls.
Yeah.
She
Mhm.
doesn't have the desire to be on social media. She
Anybody
isn't,
who's
like you
ever
said,
read a young
vapid
adult
and
novel,
narcissistic.
Yeah.
yeah, these girls that like they're the different girls. Like it's like it's so heavily coded from like the beginning. You're just like, yes,
Yeah.
and then this
But
will
not,
happen,
yeah,
and
it's just not done in any kind of like interesting.
there's
or
no
nuanced kinda
style.
way, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like, this happens a lot, but like Rachel kind of said how I was feeling, but in a smarter way than I probably could have. Like, everything everyone has said is correct about this movie. Like, it is not super well like put together in a script sense. It definitely has this weirdly antiquated, like kind of sexist feeling to the way it's treating these characters. There are things that it does that I liked, and I think that there is a visual flair even beyond the gore that I enjoyed. Like, we can debate the like worthiness or meaning of these bizarre sex scenes, but like visually they're kind of cool. Like, gore aside, and I liked kind of the visuals.
They were in like they were in like a pool with
What was like
I
you
don't know,
said
like an air
society,
mattress in
Rachel.
it or
I
something.
liked, yeah,
Yeah.
society.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
like
society-
shunting was happening.
Society's a good pull. I also just like the like cosmic visuals they're kind of bringing into it. That stuff was kind of cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just make a bold statement here. I think the sex turtle is funny. This thing right here. I think he's hilarious. Wait,
You're bananas.
listen. I think he's hilarious.
You were wrong.
Every time the camera cuts and he literally is like lounging in bed with his like arm up like
Tucked
this.
in. He's tucked in,
It's-
like waiting for his bedtime story. This
It is
fucking like mutant hairless
hilarious.
cat. What am I looking at?
It
Like,
is-
what
It is really funny, and if anything, I feel like they really. I feel like there were 2 minds going into this movie. It was like one person wanted to make this movie like a funny, kind of goofy zombie version you guys mentioned, like black comedy sort of thing. But I feel like there was another thread going through here where somebody thought this was going to be a little artsy and kind of like an artsy sort of like alien invasion kind of thing. Because that's what all of a sudden when you're seeing like flashes of the Earth and the stars and like
You
they're
know
going
what
to
you're
take the Earth
describing?
over.
That movie Beach House that was also a Shudder.
Yeah,
presents?
listen, I didn't
Yeah.
say they did it well. What I'm saying is you can see what they're trying to do here, but both of those things are just not, they're incongruous and they're not doing either one of them
Yeah.
really well. It's part of why in the end it ends up feeling like it doesn't come together because you're like, well, what is the point of any of this? Like, so my point is I think they missed a real opportunity with my man here to make this a funnier movie than it was. It made me laugh every time it was on screen. But then it does get weirdly serious, like in these bizarre, like hypnosis
Rape
space
scenes?
turtle sex scenes that are happening where like they're just like floating in his disembodied bodied flesh. Like
That pours
Was
out
that-
of his orifice. I don't even know.
It's
was
very
it coming
strange.
from him? Like
Yeah, it was like
Wait.
unfolding from like him, right?
Like,
Wasn't
Yeah.
it
It
like
was like a-
tentacle sex basically? But they were huge and like weird.
It was
He
like his
weighs, like-
placenta, right?
no, it was like
he weighs like
Yeah.
10 pounds. Like
You
the
ever
thing is,
seen,
like 10 pounds,
you ever seen
and then
Creep
it
But
was,
weighed
Show-
so much. That makes sense. I
Yeah.
just put that together. They kept talking about how
oh
heavy
yeah,
it
it was like Creep Show 2, like
Oh yeah,
when
this
they're
movie
on
is
the
tight. Now
when
these-
they're on the raft.
there were layers.
When they're on the
Weirdness.
raft and they're being like
The
attacked by
ooze, yeah.
the ooze thing, that's kind of what this stuff looked like. I think
Another
that in
But
the-
it looked like
Wikipedia example.
endometrial tissue.
it is kind of
actually.
weird. I agree. Like the characters are way too chill and willing to just be like, I don't know, it's a bear or something in the beginning, which is really weird, especially considering the noises it's making. And I think part of the issue of the movie, and like it would have fixed maybe a lot of the problems. They just needed to start throwing more crap in because the second it's too slow at some point, even for what they're
Yeah.
trying to do. Like, just that's where you throw all the goofy crap and just make it goofy.
I
like,
wanted to run away when they got to the part where they were explaining their plan to go into town. No, to get in the buggy, go to the neighbors, get her to take them into town, get a latte, find a vet. I was just like, oh my god, if I have to
Yeah.
watch all that happen, I'm just can't. I
Like in
can't do
some
it.
ways, it feels like a short that they stretched out that like didn't have enough meat to it or
Mhm.
something.
Mhm.
Well, so this is the thing, right? Like
Really quick, let me just say, I think this movie
Yeah.
is bad, but there's like a couple things I like about it. That's my elevator pitch.
I will bear witness to that. We watched most of it together.
Was it-
I was amazed.
was
at
I
how
not
often he
laughing?
laughed out loud
Yeah.
and was like, "Huh, that's kind of neat." I was just like,
Jesus Christ. No, it's Eric. I think you hit on it. Like it probably could or should have been a short that they did stretch out. I mean, there's like budget constraints. They tried to write it into the film. So these are all very spoilery things. The concept is that this is like an alien invasion. Like this isn't like a one-off alien that landed and is
Because it's part of
seeding,
like a
these
meteor
specific-
shower, and we're to and then it comes back around in the end. But like,
Well, and also, like, I don't know if you all have ever watched a meteor shower. Like, they don't go all over the sky. They like go and there's like it's like
One
one
direction.
for the most part. So as soon as that shit was happening, you're like, what? This is ridiculous. But they like knew. I don't know. Whatever. That putting
do you know what
aside
a
the
much
fact that they
better
knew there
version of
was a
this
meteor
is? What's
shower.
that movie we watched where the killer puffballs invade Earth? And
I
then-
was thinking that
Save
was in there
yourselves.
too.
that movie
Yeah.
is like kind of
Yeah,
like
great.
the ideal of what this movie's like.
Well, I've been
think trying to
watching. My
be.
wife and I've been watching Search Party, which is
That's
like
good.
kind of a lot of the same crew. It's really good. In any event, where I was going was I the point I guess I was going to end on is I totally agree. There's like a crazier version of this movie that is better, that has the same sensibility, uses the same, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle reject,
Thank you.
animatronics, and just, hits on the same notes. But, Elizabeth mentioned the scene where they like go to the neighbor's house. It's like that's the only time the movie's universe grows beyond this house. And they want the script does reference things that are happening in the outside world. Their phones don't work because of the aliens, presumably. So like they can't leave this house. They only have this buggy instead of a car. There's lots of like excuses for why things are happening the way they're happening, but they feel like excuses. They don't feel like actual, plot elements that feel genuine.
Well, and when they
They
realize
should
they're
have just done the
stranded,
crazier version.
when they realize
Yeah.
even before the other two are like kind of possessed with like sex turtle babies, like no one has enough urgency of the fact, forget about aliens, like they're stranded here and they're like there's never any mention of food running out when like they were only planning to be there for a few days.
Who needs food? They have
Yeah.
like cocaine and
They have a
weird little
lot of
bags
drugs.
of
Yeah.
drugs.
And ploppers.
Snap
Ploppers.
pop drugs.
I thought it was funny when they all just like got dressed up for their girls' night in. Like, I mean, maybe girls do that. I don't know, but like fully
I
like
always bring my wigs to meteor showers.
wigs, like fully like they're going to a club and
I
they're
mean, I
just
probably would, but
You know, I'm
I'm
laughing.
I'm
Go ahead, Rachel.
unconvinced that Sam Walker has ever actually met a human woman.
that
I'm
was
not
the
sure.
best
I think
test I've
I
ever
feel-
seen.
I feel like he just watched them in a lot of really shitty genre movies and was like, "This is what a human woman is like."
Woman.
So
Yeah. I'm laughing internally because John picked up that it was something with the aliens or something that killed their phones, and I'm sitting here watching, and that's part of the problem with this plot angle is, well, they're out in the middle of the desert. Of course there's no cell signal.
I mean, and
Right?
I don't
That could
even
be
I don't
either.
even really mind the like that they had a sort of annoying influencer character kind of person, like because that stuff's just contemporary. Like, is not that it's
Yeah.
done well or anything, but what
That's fine.
what the ideal is that your sort of main
A good
cipher
actress.
person there, like our brunette, like that tells you she's cool, John. But like the idea though is that the ideal is that she's really likable, and even though she's friends with them, provides a kind of balance. But it's weird, like she gives zero pushback to how shitty they are, and in some scenes she just seems to internalize and just be like, "Yeah, you're right, I am poor." and I should do like I
Right.
so
They were-
she's never given any agency in a way to make you really root for her, because I feel like they really want it to be this like moment at the end when she actually, spoiler alert, like kills both of them, but they're not even them anymore. So it's not even like
Yeah.
you're getting any character resolution. I didn't feel like there.
But like Elizabeth kind of alluded that when we were talking over email today, this girl, this brunette girl, is at this house in the middle of nowhere with the rich daddy's rich girl and the influencer girl. Why is she even there with them? She obviously doesn't like them, and they don't like her. Right?
That's
They
the thing.
went
It's
to
like
college together. They just, I
there's
don't know.
not a lot
like,
of. You're right, Kate. I think you're right, Casey. It's what makes the whole thing feel off. Is like, are you guys friends? Like, what is this?
See, I
All it
actually
would take
never
too is
questioned
like a
their
line that's
friendship.
like, we haven't seen each other in forever, and I know we're all so different now, but cool, let's go. And it doesn't need to be a meteor shower that you're gonna live stream. All of that was such bullshit. I was just like, no human women have ever been like, for any of these reasons, any of these things are gonna be said. No.
Right.
I
Right.
was confused.
Well, it's
I
because-
thought they all worked together at
Who
the
even
pet
knows?
shop.
They're just like, and the women, and they know each other, and
No,
go
but
in
it
the desert.
became clear later that they didn't work together at the pet shop. But yeah. In any event, sorry, Rachel.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I think the issue is that it's this collection of sexist tropes. Like there is like I said, like the worst version of the final girl where her entire personality is, I'm not like the other girls. And then this sort of casual misogyny that is like popping up more and more in horror films, which is to target like young women influencers as basically garbage people. It's kind of like the modern day Paris Hilton, and the way now we're like going back and kind of examining the way that we treated Britney Spears and Paris Hilton. But today that's we haven't, as much as we examine that, it still exists. It's just now manifest in this particular type of girl that's on social media.
Interesting.
And
Yeah.
here he is trying to critique social media. I read an interview with him where he's like talking about QAnon and the way that social media feels pleasurable, but like implants all of this darkness and manipulates us. But he actively kicks down in the process of it. Like that's actually an interesting idea. Like explore that idea. But instead he just goes for this like lazy sexist trope. And so when you throw all of them in together, you're like, of course they wouldn't be friends. But
Yeah.
it doesn't matter because he doesn't really see these characters as people anyway.
Yeah.
So what
Well,
does it matter if they
you
wouldn't
can feel
match?
that. You can feel
And that's a great point, Rachel, because I like to keep bringing up the Zombievers comparison to this movie because it feels like it's in the same vein, and it really felt to me like it really wanted to be something like Zombievers. And Zombievers has a lot of those male gazy, sexist tropes, but it's satirical, and they're kind of making fun of it,
Mhm.
and that makes the movie more
Self-aware.
fun. And they're
Mhm.
they're completely missing that mark here, and that may have been what they're going for, but they don't hit it at all.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
it's rough stuff.
Yeah.
Rough stuff. I did like the weird endometrial like vagina situation coming out of the turtle though.
It was like a big vagina that just kept going, like opening. Like it was what was that?
So here's the thing. I didn't love the like when the turtle hypnotized them and they saw things. It felt very like I would have liked that to be bigger.
Tell
and,
me,
like,
keep going,
crazier.
John. What did that feel like? Because it felt to me like something, and I can't put my finger on it. It's like a Nickelodeon show from like the 80s or something. Like
No,
it's like this weird, like, is that supposed to be
sorry.
an effect or something?
Well,
What
no,
am I?
I guess I wanted it to be like a moment of like awe. Like you were like,
Right.
Yeah,
oh wow,
yeah.
they're being like truly like not brainwashed, but they're seeing the other side,
Like
like a
Annihilation or
2001
so-
situation
right,
where it's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh,
Right.
they're true, yeah, exactly, they're convening with an alien mind, and it was just like, I don't know,
It was very like trauma-esque. Like, oh,
yes,
Right.
it was
Just
like
staring at this doll's face, the slimy turtle thing, for way too long, and then they go to the girl who like has no expression on her face, and it's like choo 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 choo, like.
But there was
crazy
also,
stuff.
if they wanted to be funny, there's like a version where you like make fun of that and you
Exactly.
do something
Yeah.
truly crazy and over the top. But they didn't do that either. It's like there were like jet engines or something, like the lights that they kept showing. I don't know. There were like a couple of effects that kept coming back. And then you would see them having the vagina sex thing, whatever the hell you guys are like, whatever you called that. I don't know what you were going, but that they were like seeing themselves in it. It was like a third person perspective. I don't know. The whole thing it didn't make any sense to me. I was just like, what is this?
Yeah.
well, that's not.
And you're
It
exactly
was
right.
sort of
You're
It was
exactly
like a
right,
Lords of
Don.
Salem kind of montage when he's like when he's like given up on the movie and it's just like say things.
Well, that's
kind
what
of
I
what
mean.
it
It's
was
like it. Yeah, it
Yes.
doesn't really go
Yeah.
anywhere. There's no evolution to those scenes at all. It's just the same kind of scene over and over. Those are
Yeah.
the moments in particular when I feel like it's like a person who's trying to be like kind of artsy, but doesn't like maybe doesn't have the capacity to do what they're trying to do.
Well,
Maybe
that's
has
what I
never
was gonna
made
say.
art.
John's right, because this guy was obviously in those scenes was going for cosmic horror and leaning on Lovecraft and stuff like that. But the secret to that stuff is you're not supposed to understand what's on the other side of all that when you make the connection with the alien. It's
Ye-
supposed to be dark and scary and
Right.
like
It was like a,
unimaginable.
you know what it was? It was like a bootleg version of that Lovecrafty Nick Cage thing we did last year, 2 years ago.
Color out of
Color out
space.
of
Color out of space.
Yeah.
Or think about like
Much
Spring
bootleg
or
you.
something. Like
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you know, like this can be done in ways that are very effective and like put in emotional narratives that like
What do we?
I just don't understand what the goal was.
One
with
moment I
this.
found, I don't know if it's puzzling or like maybe on the nose, is Mr. Cowboy Man, who he pulls up at the end.
Yeah.
He pulls up and he sees blonde, like pregnant now, alien pregnant, but
yeah.
still looking pregnant, full on like black tar looking monster lady, like trying to murder our like final girl, right? He gets out of the car, and as he's getting out of the car, the sort of like tables turn, and then the other girl is sort of like in control, and then he just instantly shoots her, like no hesitation. After when he pulls
Eric,
up,
I'm sure that was supposed to be an allegory for the white Republican male that would just take the side of the vulnerable woman. Like, yeah, jerk off motion all day. This movie sucked.
So that's hilarious because I had to rewind that part because
It's
I
like,
like went into
why?
a coma at some point. This point in the movie, and then I looked up and like the cowboy guy's dead and the other girl's shot, and I'm like, what the hell did I miss?
Well, I think you're right though. That like, because you said that when we were watching it, like, it's got to be just because she's pregnant. Because then he picks her up and he's like, "We're gonna get you to a
I'm
hospital,
from the
little lady."
land of these people. It is because that bitch was pregnant. And it's a blonde and brunette. Like there are lots of things going. It's so deep. It's
Also,
so
Did she say it in that voice? That's what I want to know.
Also, like, she kills the friends, and like, don't you think you also need to go for the stomach? Like, I don't think killing, like, they could be like fully ready to go.
They look
you
like
don't-
they're ready to
Yeah.
go to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did like that when it flashes the image, like because it doesn't speak, so it doesn't tell us outright that it's going to take over the world. But there's like a little montage
The
where it just shows
tentacle that
them
goes
multiplying, and then at the very end, like a claymation Earth with like tentacles that go around it. And it's like, ah, I
Of
see, I'm
course it
smart.
said it was gonna. Of course
I
it said it was
underst-
gonna take over the Earth. It said.
I understand
Oh my God,
subtext.
that thing.
I get it.
I mean, I'll make the comparison again to Zombievers, but I have problems with this monster. I appreciate that you.
You know
thought
what
it
my
was
What,
biggest
this
funny,
one?
problem was?
but it sucked.
Clearly, there was a hole in the couch and a dude under it that was just like, meow, 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 like Muppet style.
Yeah.
Because this thing couldn't roll over. It couldn't turn past 90 degrees. It was
It
like,
couldn't move
stuck
its
like a
arms.
baby with his T-Rex arms, and they tucked him in and were like, call it a fucking movie. Just be like,
Yeah.
he's lounging, girls are naked, go. Come
At
on.
least Zombievers, we got 4 or 5 different
What's that?
zombie beavers, and they were
Wait,
all in various
Zombiever?
states of decay, and they were fun.
I enjoyed that movie.
I don't remember
This, I barely call a
Zombievers.
movie.
I don't remember
I
guess.
Zombievers. Zombievers is when you guys made me drink a 40, so I don't remember.
Yeah, I was borderline.
that.
I've watched
Not
it 3 or 4
conscious when we
times,
were
to be
watching.
honest.
I think I was a little drunk when I saw it too, but I remember thinking, and boy, this could be, I might eat these words. I probably will. I remember being like,
Uh-oh.
I thought this was going to be super misogynistic trash, and it's actually interestingly full of like agency in moments for the, I don't know. I need to go back and check my sources on that. but-
Yeah, I can't say as much if it gave the ladies agency or not, but I do think they were satirical in their male gazing.
I will continue
That may have been enough for me to be like,
my
this
fi-
is legit. I'll watch
my final position
Like
is I will
crumbs.
my
it. Right. Exactly.
my final position is I will continue to go to bat for Sex Turtle, and that's where I'm going to leave it.
Uh-huh. I'm so glad to
I
hear
kinda
that.
have Sex Turtle too.
Eric, Sex
Yeah,
Turtle
wait.
couldn't even swing a bat.
Rachel, is that you're in on Sex Turtle too? Nice.
I am an on Sex Turtle. To me, he looks like never-ending story turtle.
Yes.
Yes.
He totally does.
Who was allergic to humans?
As were the writers and producers. and
Amazing.
directors.
All right. Any other scenes we left out here? I feel like we got.
I
most
like
of
the
them.
idea of the alien invasion and how it was going to go down that they showed us. I mean, I like Sex Turtle's plan, and we got some of those visions of like all the baby sex turtles and stuff. I actually had a moment of like, oh shit, how are they going to ever stop that if they get out? I appreciate that part of the storytelling.
Can't stop a sex turtle once he gets going. It's just gotta,
Right.
just gotta let it happen.
They were raising the stakes for you, Casey. They were raising the stakes there.
All right, would you recommend The Seed, Rachel?
Oh no. I enjoy Sex Turtle. I enjoy him as your background, but
Thank
the
you.
price to enjoy Sex Turtle is too high.
This background right here, worth the price of Patreon alone. I might leave him up all year. Casey.
That's a no from me, dog.
Elizabeth.
Absolutely not.
John.
Just don't.
No.
Yeah, I'm going to say no. I mean, I found things to enjoy about it because it was happening to me, but I would not recommend this movie. Definitely.
Yeah.
Now you sound like all the female characters.
That's exactly right. And what I was thinking. They're like, well, we're here. It's happening.
That is meta.
All right. It is time to say goodbye to Sex Beaver. Let's take a quick break and do some fan mail.
Nasty weather got you little monsters uptight. Make it a blockbuster night. Blockbuster has something for everyone. Even the fussiest little beasts settle down to enjoy Blockbuster. I just love a family night. If the weather's a fright, make it a Blockbuster night.
Hey, I'm Lisa Zane from Nightmare on Elm Street, and you are listening to Bloody Good Horror.
Send feedback to info@bloodygoodhorror.com or on Twitter using hashtag AskBGH. Join Patreon to get back episodes and much more. Patreon.com/bloodygoodhorror.
We're back. info@bloodygoodhorror.com. Caitlin's not here, but I think we're safe on my top 10 list, Schnars. What do you think? Like, I mean, although I might as well add it. I mean, there's only 2 things on there, but I guess
We don't do the bottom 3 anymore. So
the one of the things going on currently, John, and Patreon is that we there's a couple things going on. If you are a patron at any level and you subscribe to our Patreon, they call it an RSS feed, which I really appreciate. It's basically a podcast feed that you can grab if you go to Overview in your app. Go to Bloody Good Horror, go to Overview, and it says like audio RSS link. You can grab that and put it into any podcatcher, I believe is the parlance, Schnors.
That's accurate.
So right now you get 2 things. Every Monday, I've been curating classics, and they correspond to the same time of year, but in a different year. So you can check out like what we were doing in March 2012 or something like that. So those are dropping every Monday morning, and then every Thursday evening where we start dropping this show in early access before it comes out Friday morning. So if you find yourself hankering for some BGH on a Thursday night, John, it's there for you. Most by 8 or 9.
Get a jump.
8 or
Get a
9.
jump.
But yeah, so and if you wanted to, you could just use that as your feed and get all of it in one place if you want to. But yeah, so patreon.com/bloodygoodhorror. We also have some cool stuff going on, John. I started working with an artist this week on a Patreon exclusive T-shirt design. His name is John. His you can find his art.
I don't like that.
You can find his art at slimeandgrime.com. That's just an N there in the middle. Yeah, you know him.
Yeah, I do know him. I didn't know that's who you contacted. I'm very happy.
Yeah, so John is I don't know how I got in contact. Maybe it was through you, Casey, but he was a fellow masshole when I was living there, and I believe him and his partner like produce art together. I think he's working on this design, but it's turned out really cool, and that's going to be a patron exclusive. If you are a patron, keep an eye on your inbox. I'm going to be giving out some details, maybe some previews on that soon. We're hoping that'll drop like Q2, John. And then our boy Casey is already working on the next T-shirt design after that, which will just be for public consumption.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that's what's going on over at Bloody Good Horror Patreon. I'm waiting for everyone else to bring the energy. This is all the energy.
Nifty.
Thank you.
I can't wait for shirt.
Thank you. I've been sick.
I gotta
need
lay
help.
I
down.
am
I'm sorry.
excited for a new shirt.
I mean,
The
same.
last
but
one
it
I got was
long
Brock
time.
Lesnar
Nice.
versus Candyman.
I
You
still
can-
wear the Brock Lesnar.
like,
I love
Listen,
that.
you can still
great.
go on there. You can still go on there and get the Brock Lesnar shirt, and you can also get it on like I don't know, like a throw pillow if you wanted. So go
I
nuts.
might do that.
We just have to call it. It's called The Fight because if you put Brock Lesnar's name in anything on TeePublic, they're like, your store is dead now. So
Mhm. Also, trying to explain what is on that T-shirt
I love
is
it.
just the most ridiculous.
Do you know what my favorite touch on it is?
futile
So that
it's crazy.
for anyone who hasn't seen it, if you go to TeePublic, search Bloody Good Horror, or go to bloodygoodhorror.com, you can hop into our TeePublic store. This was a shirt design born of a now years and years ago inside joke about who would win in a fight between Brock Lesnar and Candyman. So this this artist, I think that was a Burrito Breath. I think that was the name of that artist. That was like a dude Mark knew from his like punk band days. Just amazing artwork of Candyman fighting Brock Lesnar. And my favorite little touch is Brock Lesnar's glove, instead of saying UFC, says FUC. It says fuck on it. So stupid. I love it so much. And yeah, it's literally impossible to explain to anybody that wasn't listening to BGH at like a very specific moment in time.
If
That's
you know,
awesome.
you know.
I didn't know that was Burrito Breath that did that shirt because I've actually discovered Burrito Breath on Instagram since I started my art journey too, and he's another one that's right up there with Slime and Grime for
I'm
me
pretty
as far as
sure-
like being a fan of.
I'm pretty sure, and I was just poking through our TeePublic because I was trying to figure out this Patreon exclusive thing, like how that was going to work. But and I noticed too that my favorite design, which is the old burning design with the like fake Schnars silhouette on it, you can still get that. You can get stickers and patches.
I have a
and
few of those.
all kinds of cool
They're
shit.
all up
so.
there, man. They're not going.
I have a
anywhere.
fabulous photo of one of my friend's 3-year-old twins wearing the Brock Lesnar shirt at a pool party because he lost his shirt. It's the best.
Amazing. So yeah, all that. Check out all that TeePublic. You can go to bloodygoodhorror.com and just click on. I think it says T-shirts up in the thing, and check it out. Casey, what's going on?
Yes.
On Twitter.
All right, we have a hashtag on Twitter, Ask BGH, ask us questions, we will answer. We got a few questions this week. First one comes up from longtime friend at Whitney Please. Have you ever had a UFO or extraterrestrial experience? Do you want to have a UFO or extraterrestrial experience? Why or why not?
I never have. I would like to have an experience much more than I would a like a ghost kind of experience. Like
I don't know, man. The
I-
stakes are higher.
I want there.
Yeah, no,
that's
I go there.
fair.
I'm with Elizabeth.
I
on
want
this.
there to be aliens so bad that I would be willing to just take that chance at whatever. is
Well, let me
gonna
just put your mind. There are like
happen.
there definitely are. I don't know that I need them up in my grill.
I want to see them.
Yeah.
I just feel like they don't.
I
understand me.
don't need either, and I'm comfortable not having that experience. So,
Yeah.
but I would
survived
prefer
18 years
supernatural
in
if
a
I had
haunted
to.
house. I don't know about aliens.
All I could say is my mom lives in front of a woods, and as a kid, I grew up scared of that woods because I was pretty sure Bigfoot lived there. But after Colleen and I started dating, there was one night we stopped. We got in my car, getting ready to leave, and the car is parked in front of the garage. To the left, you could see the woods, and Colleen and I both looked up and saw a bright light stop over the trees and drop into the woods. And Colleen said, what was that? That was an alien. And all I said was no as I looked behind me and backed out of the driveway very fast.
You lying later.
I've never
Don't care.
I've never had a UFO experience personally, but my boyfriend has. Like, it is a defining moment in his life where he saw a triangle over the desert, and he will swear up and down he saw it. He's like reported it to MUFON and everything. Yeah,
Wow, I was well. You are in Nevada right now, so
I was
you
about to
never
say.
know.
right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, he grew up down in Palm Springs, which is apparently very alien active. I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I'm jealous.
they're here, guys. Believe truth.
Oh,
out there
the other
in
part of
desert.
that question, Casey, wasn't it? Or I don't know. Was it what's your favorite alien invasion movies are? Or was that a different? Was that on Instagram?
No, that's a second tweet from Whitney, which we can go into next.
Sorry.
Also from Whitney, please. What is the scariest alien design you've seen in a movie, TV show, or video game?
Man, that's a good question. I remember.
Cloverfield.
Yeah, I loved
Fire in the Sky.
actual design.
Oh, Fire in the Sky messed me up.
That shit
Well, if
messed
it's
me
like-
up.
I would say, and we've talked about it before, but Resident Evil 4 has some of the scariest creature designs. And that, I mean, video game
Honestly,
specific, obviously, but
I just feel like John's not going to be okay with this answer, but
probably
my
not.
favorite design it's the engineers from Prometheus.
Yeah, I could see it.
That's
I
they're
liked-
unsettling. I understand.
I
they are
liked
very
the
Yeah.
I liked the uncanny valley of it sort of being like almost like a Renaissance depiction of like a perfect human body, but also like too big, like weirdly like
Mhm.
giant. Like I loved all that.
They,
We're just gonna pretend the xenomorph is not there in the
See,
same room.
Yeah,
We're just
Yeah.
gonna pass right by that. Okay.
Xenomorph is going to be mine. I know it's an
I
easy
mean,
answer,
yeah.
but that reticulated jaw that reaches out and punches through your chest, that always scared the
I'm gonna
crap out of
say
me. And
Xenomorph-
you have the acid blood.
I'm gonna say Xenomorph and like Aliens though, because the original one
Is
was
it
like
cheating to say The Thing? Because that had all kinds of.
The thing is also
Amazingness.
really good.
the original Xenomorph is like a little. I love that movie, but it's like all I can picture is like the set photos of that dude in his like tennis shoes when I see the original Xenomorph.
Yeah.
He's always like giving him the razzle dazzle.
Yeah, you can just like see the
Yeah.
piece. You can like just see the arm pieces clanking around.
Sparkle motion hands.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Next up, we have another longtime fan, longtime listener, and friend of BGH at PS Trophy Hunter. One moment. I clicked off the tweet. I apologize. Having just celebrated Pie Day, what is your preferred type of pie?
I saw this.
Cake.
No. Oh.
Key lime.
Mine
Key lime.
would probably
Ooh,
be
key
a
lime's
pot
good.
Pie.
A what?
Savory. Like a pot.
Oh, like a
A
pot pie.
pot pie.
That's a
Chicken
that's
pot,
a
chicken
cheap
pot,
answer.
chicken pot pie.
It's-
There you go.
It's pumpkin is the answer. Pumpkin's the best.
Now, peanut butter.
I'll eat a lot of pie. So
Peanut butter pie is probably pretty good too.
Peanut butter pie is good, followed closely by pecan.
Yeah, it's fine. It's
I
just
feel
sugar.
like peanut butter. So like I love peanut butter pie, just to put it out there. But
too
like
much.
it's
I do like pumpkin
exactly.
pie, but usually if I'm going to go for a triangular shaped dessert, it's going to be cake of some kind or
I also really
I don't
appreciate
know,
pumpkin.
ice cream.
I really appreciate pumpkin pie because there's some like versions of it that I can eat at holidays, like for even with all my restrictions that are still really good. Like it just works in many forms. So
Yeah. Definitely. All right. Next up, we have at InfoWarf, who's also been hanging around for a long time. Whatever happened to that W.C. O'Flanagan fella? I think it would be fun to hear Casey or Caitlin have to read that diarrhea.
I assume he's.
But I will say
somewhere-
I have read that diarrhea before.
I can only assume he's somewhere tweeting at Joe right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, good times.
I don't know. We haven't heard
Oh.
from him in a while.
Miss
Oh,
that guy,
Yeah.
W.
yeah.
Flanagan. I mean,
We miss
also
him.
Joe a little bit.
All right, last up we have another friend of BGH at Black Metal Jesus, who you all may know as Mando. What is your favorite alien invasion film?
Yeah, I saw this. That's a good question.
I love The Faculty.
Mm,
Oh, that is fun.
It's a
that's
really good
Mm.
one.
That's a good answer.
That's a good answer.
Wait, were you guys talking about Mars Attacks when I came? I like
Yeah.
joined. It was like before, it was pre-show. That's a really good movie.
Yeah.
I love that movie. That's one of my favorites, and it's all based on the alien running around with the loudspeaker saying, "Stop! We are trying to help you."
Mhm.
I think it might be Cloverfield Lane.
Ooh, I would go regular
Mhm.
Cloverfield.
Regular
too.
Cloverfield all day.
The ending of
Yeah,
Cloverfield
so
Lane to
good.
me is like one of my favorite alien things that's ever happened. Like just that last 10
That
minutes.
ending is pretty. Yeah, I was. Pretty,
Yeah. But the most shocking thing in that entire movie, while the aliens were cool at the end, the most shocking thing was John Goodman shaving.
Yeah, that's true. Honestly,
Well,
my
what-
my legit
That was the
ner-
key point in the movie when he showed up shaved. We're all like, "Uh-oh."
What is
Yeah.
happening?
my like legit
Ooh.
nerd answer might be Half-Life 2. Honestly, and like I feel
Oh,
like
okay.
if they ever make a movie out of the Half-Life games, it'll be the best ever.
What were those called? Head crabs?
Head crabs. Yeah.
Ew. I do not like that name.
They're like a
they
face
latch
hugger.
onto your face and like
I don't
turn
need
you.
any more information.
They
about
turn
that.
you into a zombie. So in the game, you'll have a zombie coming at you with a head crab on, and first you gotta like shoot the crab off, and then you gotta like kill the
That
zombie.
name. Okay, so I had to just explain to my daughter recently what I can't even say it. It's is it trypophobia?
Mm.
The fear of
Oh yeah.
like small hole. So she watches.
Trypophobia?
Thank you. I honestly don't know. I say it different every time. But I can't stand that, like, in a very visceral way. I have to, like, look away. It's gross. She's watching all these, like, slime videos on YouTube. Like, I have to literally come in and be like, stop watching people play with, like, Play-Doh. This is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. And it's, like, adult women. It's not like kids being like, this is fun. It's, like, just, like, people putting earrings into slime and then, like, rolling it around and pulling it. So, they put it in something that had all the holes and were like pushing it through. And she was like, Mama, look, it's cool though. It's got glitter. And I was like, okay, turn it up. Like this, I'm not going to vomit. And I don't know how to explain that to you. And this is grossing me out. And she was just like, what the hell is wrong with you? It's not.
I'm glad I'm not the only one. I was always troubled by the main dude from Nightbreed that had all the slits in his
Yes.
face. Oh, that grossed me out so
Interesting.
much.
That's a similar feeling. And like the thing made completely of teeth, that is the image.
Shudder.
It's on Shutter a ton,
Yeah.
but it's from
Channel
Channel
Zero.
Zero.
Yes,
Yeah.
that I can't. I
I don't
cannot
like teeth. Yeah,
stand
I'm not
that.
a big fan of teeth.
Mm-mm.
I mean, I think people should have them, but that's about as far as it goes.
Mm,
As far as
Yeah.
teeth. Anything else, Casey?
That is it for Twitter.
All right, we got 3 things on Instagram, John. 3 things. Please adjust accordingly. Your expectations.
I'll survive.
Only one of them's a real question, so also that. This person said, "I thought you said Speed." LOL. Would Seed be better with Keanu Reeves in it? What if
Yeah,
Probably.
What if Keanu
Yes.
Reeves was the voice of the sex turtle? Just gonna put that out there.
Yes.
Yes, I think we're cooking.
What if the
with
sex
gas,
turtle
you
just
guys.
went- What if the sex turtle just went, "Whoa"?
This is making a movie I would watch.
It'd still be more than the sex turtle
Whoa.
did.
Right.
I'm afraid to even ask this question. Is seed the worst euphemism for sperm? No one has
So,
to answer this.
It's just
I
like how
did-
biblical it is. I will say.
I did like a define seed and just like was like curious what was gonna come up. And the synonyms there's a lot of sperm synonyms in there. There were words that I had never heard before, and I was like, "Oh, this could be interesting." Clicked on it, I was like, "Nah, it's like fish
Mhm.
sperm. It's like a weird word for fish." Yeah,
I think we're gonna
it's
move
real
on.
gross.
Final question. It's a deep one. What do you want people to do with your body / what ritual would you like to happen when you die?
God, the
So
book I
I've-
just finished reading was all about like funeral pyres, and I've been thinking about this.
Yeah, I'd like
Yeah,
to be
I'm definitely
cremated, I
not
think.
I'm not having like a grave site. I'm like I think I want like one of the things where they like mash you up and they turn you into fertilizer for a tree.
Wow.
Yeah, I could be okay with that.
Well, a lot
I'm
of
down for
so
that.
there's a lot of graveyards now will have sections that are like they bury you without a coffin, and there's just like wild growth in the ground. Like it's just like wildflowers and trees and shit, and like they just put you in the ground basically to like act as fertilizer.
Yeah.
But I want to
I'm d-
be.
I
I
would
think
be
I
okay
just.
with that.
Linen treatment.
I think I just want to be
I want the full
torched.
linen treatment where I'm in a glass
You
casket.
want
Lenin?
what
Nice.
And
legs?
then it
Be the
hangs over me
nicest
for all of
casket.
eternity.
I like it.
You have to with that hair.
You want to be
right?
like a Catholic relic, basically. You just want to be like
Yeah.
just like a hand in the box.
Shroud of Rachel. Yes.
just
you
a
go.
pink, just your pink hair, just preserved for all eternity. I like it.
I'm seeing like a
perfectly
Renaissance painting.
I'm perfectly fine if you burn me down, and I don't really care what you do with the ashes afterwards. But I do. The sappy side of me always wanted Flogging Molly's "I'll Never Leave This World Alive" played at my funeral.
Okay.
I have like my my grandfather was like cremated and then buried in a cemetery, which like I don't understand why.
I've heard of that.
Double dipping.
Like how deep was how big was the hole?
I wasn't there when they dug it, John. I didn't participate in the hole digging process.
You didn't measure it?
No.
I was
Now,
requested to sing
he did
on demand at a funeral one time. Like COVID funeral where nobody could stand next to each other, and it was they're like, let's go, just a few bar, Amazing Grace.
He did die in Florida, and like he lived in Florida but knew he was going to be buried in New York, so I suppose it might have been a practical choice of not being able to afford
like cheaper
shipping a coffin. Yeah. Just get him a little seat on a plane.
Get all that water weight out of there.
Ah, death.
Put him in your carry-on. The water.
Sorry, this is dark.
Oh man, I mean, like it's cremation. I feel like
yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
that's a cute puppy. Is that a new puppy?
Puppy.
That's Aggie.
Oh my goodness.
Aggie's so chunk.
I want to hug her.
Love it. All right.
Aggie's a mixed breed beagle, and Colleen and I have both said she's beagle mixed with potato.
So cute.
She's adorable.
I just got a message from someone on Instagram answering this question privately that I'm going to read out loud. This
People
person
love that.
says,
DMs.
This person says, sky burial, lay my body out on the rocks and let the wild creatures eat me. That is if
Nice.
I leave a body. My current plan is to be melted in lava. Haven't you always wanted to touch lava? I bet it's like fire and silly putty. Who says we're missing COW
That is cool.
Flanagan?
I'm okay with that.
Very metal.
Yeah,
I think the problem is if you get close enough to lava, you like instantly burst into flame because it's so fucking hot.
You turn into fire, like you just like.
Right. Yeah, just
you don't get
heat.
to experience it. There will be no like texture experience. Yeah.
Because I will say that I have this super irrational fear in the back of my head that from like I think it's from an old Tales from the Crypt episode that like you're actually just like fully sentient after you die and you can feel everything but you just can't move or talk. And so then
there's definitely a
Tales from the Crypt or something because then that we're like hearing the internal monologue and the person gets put into the fire. So if you just got yeeted into a volcano, you'd like instantly turn into ashes. Like you wouldn't have to worry about pain. If that on the off chance.
Just ask Gollum.
On the off chance that you could feel, that's maybe the way to go. Just putting that out there.
Final answer, yeet it into a volcano.
Yeah.
Eat it into a volcano. Or the wind.
Love it. All right. Next week, I believe, is X.
Yeah.
We gotta step up for this one because Schnars is out and Caitlin is out, so we're gonna do that. But that should be the plan next week. Is to do X. John, I hear that.
Do X.
I hear these days it looks like a little popper thing.
Depending on how I feel, I might leave you like a voice memo that I'm going to send for you to edit into the show. We'll see.
Nice.
Sure, because I always do that.
I know you love doing that, so it's like one of your favorite things.
Love it. All right, people. Theatrical horror. Here we go. Hope you enjoyed this episode on The Seed. Thank you to our guests for joining us this evening. And we'll talk to you.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
We'll talk to you next week.
See you.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.